Peace, everybody. This is Crimson. Back at it again with another message. Please excuse the background sound. I am in the car. I'm pretty sure my voice is going to be over it all, so let's get to it. This message is around death. In particular, well, what I'm gonna name this shit is murder in the only degree. Murder in the only degree. And of course, everybody knows what time this is, what time of year this is, the energy around it. Of course, Day of the Dead, Halloween. But in particular, I'm going to talk about in Voodoo Haitian, the Bone, the Brav, and the Gede energy, right? Haitian Voodoo for those who didn't understand me. The Bone, the Brav, and the Gede consist of the underworld energies, right? Underworld meaning subconscious energies. The underworld also meaning ancestral energies. The underworld meaning what's closest to the source, ancient knowledge, occult knowledge, everything beneath the surface, right? But in particular, it deals with, if you want to sum it all up, the Bone, the Brav, and the Gede deal with death, right? You got Bone Samedi, which is Samedi meaning Saturday. Saturday, Saturn Energy. Saturn deals with limitations, constrictions, discipline, routines, regimens, time, father time, and just deals with, if you really want to sum that up as well, Saturn deals with what needs to be done, right? Responsibilities and what needs to, the events, circumstances, and whatever you need to go through, dealing with time, your time on earth, your time whatever time in your life, whatever you're dealing with, right? It deals with that, right? Which most people, around 28, 29 go through, of course, the period Saturn's return, which is basically that period to where you receive somewhat clarity as to, how far you've gotten in life, what the fuck you've done, what the fuck needs to go on. The late 20s, when, even if you don't even talk about astrology, most people talk about the late 20s going into your 30s, like, all right, well, if I haven't done shit up, or like, most people consider the 20s is your partying time, because like 18 and 19 is really when your brain is almost at, full development, right? Or nearing that stage, right? And so when you're in your 20s, you're really living it up, right? Going to clubs, got all the energy, you're working out, if you're into bodybuilding, all that shit, But, you come upon this period, the Saturn's return, which deals with pretty much getting your shit together, right? Which has many different perspectives, of course, depending on wherever you're at in your journey and your consciousness and your awareness of yourself, whatever the fuck you want to do, right? But when we're talking about these energies, we're talking about death, right? And when you think about death, see, most of the shit that we go through deals with most of our fears, most of how we act, most of how we go about doing things, and in particular, with the ego, it deals with protecting ourselves from what? The unknown, fearful circumstances, right? And in the human sense, what brings you closer to physical death of the body, or death in general, is the most fearful circumstance, fearful event. When you're faced with, you look in movies, of course, seeing it over and over again with video games and shit like that, we've become desensitized to it, where if somebody gets shot point blank, many years ago, you know, in the 20s and the 30s and shit like that, you would have seen that on the screen. Even if you've seen it in real life, if you've seen that on the screen, you'd be, oh my God. Like, and you'll have to pause that shit, right? We're in a different age now to where death, physical death, is shown. You might have 150 people dying in a movie or a show, or like a single episode of a show, and nobody gives a fuck. No, everybody just cares about the story, right? Oh yeah, well, some people have to die. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a soldier yourself. You know, like you've gone to war, right? But we're gonna get on war. But death is the one thing that's certain, right? We talk about, and especially, you know, the adepts dealing with occult knowledge, you know, change is the only constant in the universe, right? Which change involves death. Death to the former you, death to the former, death to the past, in order to rebirth into something new, which goes into the next stage, which is life. You know what I'm saying? It keeps, all right, something has to die, of course, boom, transmuted through that process into life, right? So when you're dealing with death, right, you're dealing with the underworld energies, which also deals with the root chakra. This is why the root chakra deals with your survival, your basic needs, your basic wants being met, but really basic your survival needs being met, right? And your rootedness, right? It also deals with ancestors, it deals with your past, it deals with what? Your foundation, security, right? But it also deals with, since you want to talk about survival in that aspect, it also deals with the aspects of physical survival, right? Physical survival, since that is your lower self, it deals with your animal self, right? Which deals with the amygdala. The amygdala, of course, it deals with memory. Just, you know, it deals with memory, but most people know it for the fight or flight response, right? Either you're gonna fight or you're gonna run. This can be seen on National Geographic. This can be seen on YouTube. This can be seen even outside of wherever the fuck you live. Something has to die in order for something to live, right? And in that sense, of course, you've probably seen the impala in the lake or whatever, which is you got the damn African spotted dogs, right? African wild dogs or whatever. You got them on one end on land, or a cheetah or a jaguar or whatever. Then you got the crocodile in the water, right? And all that you feel for that little impala is what? Fear. Of course you feel sympathy, like, oh man, why did he have to die? But if you understand it, it's a part of the what? The circle of life, right? Which the circle of life involves death. Which brings me to the point, like what I was saying, death is the only thing certain, right? Death is a certainty. This physical body will die. That is the certainty, right? So bringing it all back full circle with the time that we're going on right now, which is Halloween, Day of the Dead, of course, whatever. You're dealing with a lot of energies that go around survival, but also you're dealing with energies that involve death. And death involves the sense of murder. Death involves the sense of killing, right? Gruesome, bloody, whatever needs to go on in order for some things life source, because my life depends on this whatever this is threatening me. So in order for me to live, I must do anything necessary, right? This is the basics of, if you see in nature, most of this shit, most of the killings are not personal. Like, man, you fuck with my pride, oh yeah, we all gonna team up on you or whatever. Or like, you see even like for, again, African hunting dogs, for example. They're known for being the most successful as a team, right? In terms of hunting. because they've understood that us as a team can get shit done for our young at home, right? We're most effective, we're most efficient, especially in our size. Of course, they have endurance, but as a team, we have to fuck shit up as a team in order for us to live, right? None of our enemies are personal. Your food, I have to eat, therefore you die, I live. That's the simple rule, right? So, dealing with death, right? And transmuting it into the human aspect, right? Or translating it rather. I remember, and of course, most of us like to think that, of course, you know, especially coming into ourselves or coming into consciousness or awareness, we like to disregard our ignorant stage, that which serves as the foundation of your life, right? You being asleep and then you coming into, you know, being awake, right? And I remember, of course, seeing on this, I think, yeah, it was a Tyler Perry play, and I think it was, I don't remember the name of it. Of course, this was before he really got on the big stage in terms of like movies, but this was played still on the stage. This was it was a play to where I think he was acting as Medea, of course, and he said something, and he was like, I know a nigga, or I know a brother, or whatever he's saying. I know a man that'll kill you just because of the wind is blowing, right? Now, of course, the audience laughed, of course, and you think about this, and it's simple. God damn, the wind blowing. What the fuck is on his mind, right? But when you go back, when you go into death, right, dealing with, again, the Baum, the Brav, and the Gede, dealing with underworld energies, dealing with death, dealing with melanin, dealing with the ancient, dealing with your source energy, right? Going back as far as, not when time began, as far as you, me, being the source, right? Because, of course, when we talk about the Great Mother, we talk about Noon, we're really talking about potential, right? Unlimited potential, which is chaos, which is perfection. Anything can happen, therefore anything can happen. And since unlimited potential is all these things standing still, there's unlimited possibilities, right? That's chaos energy, right? And in order for chaos, in order for melanin to know itself, it had to be put into constriction. It had to be put into a human body. It had to be put into something that makes it move, that puts it in a box, puts it in a container for it to break out of. Because melanin, of course, like I've spoken on with venom, you put melanin in these harsh conditions, you're going to automatically put it in a position to go beyond its former self, death, right? So when you're talking about this aspect, like what I was saying with Medea and Tyler Perry, you put yourself in this position. We all have heard the most nastiest, most gruesome, because remember, death, darkness, niggas are the most potent forms of death. Not on just this planet, melanin being everywhere. If you want to think about death, and if you want to think about what can happen if a nigga gets angry, that alone should tell you that there is power in being a nigga. Now, this is not going on no egotistical type shit like, oh yeah, we niggas, yeah, this is what we do, blah, 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 blah. But this is going on in the aspect of power, source power. Anything that comes after the source, this is not personal. Anything that comes after the source is fucking diluted. Meaning, if you are from the source, if you are acting out as the source, there is no limit as to what you can do. There's no limit as to what you can be. There's no limit as to what you can achieve. There's no limit to your imagination. There's no limit as to where your spirit can go. There's no limit as to you. There's no limit. There is no time when you began. There is nothing. You don't end, right? This is the energy of the Gede, the Baon, and the Brav, which goes into the aspect of, if you look at Baon Samdi, for example, right? Or if you're looking at the Gede in general, these are energies that are laughing. They're dealing with, they're very sexual in nature. They have a dance called the Banda, which deals with pretty much, if you look at them, they're dancing gyration of the hips, which is where if you're a nigga, if you're a man or a woman, all your shit comes from the hips. Just keeping it real. If you a man and a woman is grinding on your dick, that shit's like heaven. If she's riding on your dick, that shit's like heaven. For a woman, riding a dick, that shit should feel like heaven, I should say. We've all had sex. The look on the face, the moan, the orgasm, the eyes rolling in the back of the head, the squirting, shit like that. Just keeping it real. So dealing with that energy, and dealing with that sexual energy, which we know the Kundalini is that powerful energy, you're dealing with the energy of unlimited power, unlimited creation, which what I was saying with death, right? So getting into the aspect of Baon Criminel, right? Since we on this energy, which is his feast day, and Haiti is November 2nd, right? Which Baon Criminel is basically the Punisher energy. If any of you know the Punisher, I'm not personally, if I'm gonna say from my perspective, fuck the movies, watch the show with John Bernthal. That's a perfect representation, quote unquote perfect, of that energy, right? But Baon Criminel has the energy of a man whose family is killed, of course, and he's condemned to death, right? And his only source, pretty much, you would say, right? Or his only energy or his only choice is to what? Kill. His energy is of swift justice, right? It's of energies of swift justice and judgment. Hold on, I'm backing into a space right now. Energies of swift justice and judgment, right? Of course, in the show, he's a Marine, Semper Fi, and it goes into the storyline, of course, you know, cinematics, theatrics, or whatever. But the energy is of my family got killed, and his energy is of really, if you want to sum in 3 words, retribution, revenge, and justice, right? And of course, this energy deals with protection of those who are voiceless, right? Since of course it's dealing with revenge, it's a heavy justice energy, right? It's a heavy justice energy. And also with revenge, of course, and retribution, which means is getting your recompense for wrongdoing, right? And of course, you know, this is what a lot of niggas speak of in raps, which he's also known as Captain Zombie, right? Which, of course, the visualization is holding a necklace of bottles, right? With zombies, of course, meaning souls, those souls he's taken, right? Put in bottles, right? But as I'm saying this, we're dealing with, of course, well, I was saying, of course, with the gang's energy as well. Most when you look at gangs, right? When you look at the Bloods, the Crips, you know, Stanley Tookie Williams, you got what's that other movie? The Education of Sonny Carson. You got energies of, you know, the Vice Lords, you got the Rolling 60s Crips, you got all these gangs, right? These are societies of men who pretty much are forming to be a group, have our own laws, have our own ways to get in, rites of passage, right? And are pretty much our own society, right? We're living, of course, in, of course, the US or wherever where the fuck we're at, but this is what we do, right? This is how we go about doing business, right? If you fuck with him, you fuck with me, right? This is the gang energy, right? Justice energy, which a lot of niggas speak on, of course, in gangs and in raps or whatever. But as it pertains to what I was talking about with death, death has two senses. One, death, and this is where we're going to go with this, because death in the sense of transmuting, of course, death, of course, the part of life. But when we're getting really in the sense of what death really means and what melanin really means, the ancestors, what they mean for you, the underworld energy, what they mean, the subconscious energies, what they mean, cosmic chaos beings, what that really means. When you're getting into the sense of what the fuck death really means, you got to understand, as a nigga, like I've said before, there's nothing that you haven't been through. Let's just even put American slavery, for example, right? That has put you in, that is programmed into your DNA. Anger, frustration, worry, envy, jealousy, all of these things, all of these energies, like I said, when niggas black out or when niggas fight and all I saw was red, right? This is what, and before we get to that, what I was saying earlier, this is the importance of exercise, root chakra, or discipline in general, but specifically exercise in the root chakra, because when you have all of these emotions in you, right? If you don't move them around, if you don't stir the pot, if you don't understand that you are the cook behind all of this, if you don't understand that you're cooking, you came up with the recipe for this life. You came up with the recipe for this fucking mission. If you don't understand you're the cook, you're going to identify yourself as one of the ingredients, right? And you're going to be cooked in somebody else's recipe. You're going to be a part of somebody else's mac and cheese. You're going to be a part of potato salad with fucking raisins, like we always like to talk about with white people. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, but just keep it real. If you don't understand that you emotions are energy in motion, right? If you are not moving this energy around, this is also what goes into fact with yoga, stretching. If you don't move this shit around, right? These shits are gonna sit in pockets. This is where you get aches. This is where you get pains. This is where you have to go get a massage, right? Which there's nothing wrong with a massage, right? You know what I'm saying? But if you're not moving these energies around, they're gonna sit, right? Dealing with them, moving them around, and constructively using it. I'm only going on the side because this is what we're talking about with this anger, right? That everybody feels. You can't if you've never felt anger, you're a fucking liar. Keep it real. If you've never felt frustration, if you've never felt worry, you're a fucking liar. Get real. Get real. This place that we're at right now, Earth, is a fucking shithole. Just the fact that you have to eat every day. Just the fact that you have to go to even if you're not hunting, even if you're not using spears, even if you're not using guns, even if you're not really hunting for your food. Just the fact that you have to drive, get in the car, go in traffic, just dealing with dumbasses in the damn parking lot, just going to the store, just dealing with people, just coming around the corner, you have your shit in your cart, and all of a sudden somebody just walks across you and act like they didn't even see you. People not saying excuse me. Just the fact that you have to be around other people, you know what I'm saying, just to get your fucking food for the week. That alone, that experience alone, no matter how happy you feel one day, everybody has had that experience that you've gone to the store and I don't get the fuck out my way. I just want to get my food and go the fuck home, right? Just the fact that you have to do that in this day and age. The shit hasn't changed just because technology has improved, quote unquote. Just because you live in the USA or wherever the fuck you live. Just because you have a grocery store. You can go to Lidl. You can go to Food Lion. You can go to Harris Teeter. You can go to all these grocery stores or whatever. Just the fact that you can do all these things doesn't make the experience any fucking better. Doesn't take the emotion away from it. But like I was saying, back to death, right? Because the point of this is to really, I'm talking to those niggas who are past the being nice, right? Past the traditions, right, of saying things in a proper way, right? I'm talking to the niggas that want to tap into the blackness, the darkness of you, right? Because You know when you felt angry, no matter if you put on some boxing gloves, no matter if you've ever gotten into a fight or not, you know the feeling of wanting just to slap the shit out of a nigga. Or a white person, or whoever who did you wrong, who just didn't do what you wanted them to do, right? Because your natural sense of being is getting whatever the fuck you want, right? I mean, look, just to keep it real, isn't this the point of occult shit? Convincing yourself of what you already deserve? Because as a child, you were convinced you can't have that. You can't do that right now. Shut the fuck up. Be quiet. I'm on the phone. No, I don't have McDonald's money. I don't have Burger King money. I don't have Wendy's money. Can you take yourself to the store? Do you have a job? No. Until you get a job, you do my house. You live in my house. You go by my rules. All this shit, just that fact alone doesn't, no shade to anybody's parents. No shade to childhood in general. Just that fact alone is blasphemous to being a god. Blasphemous to being a creator. This is why this work, you have to make a fucking choice. There is no 1 foot in and 1 foot out. There is no put your left foot in and put your left out. Put your right foot in, put your right foot out. There ain't no do the hokey pokey with this shit and turn yourself. That ain't what it's all about. What it's all about is either you in or you out. That's what I was just talking about with Brown Criminal, for example, with the gangs. If you're in a gang, you get sometimes, and I don't know if anybody listening to this is in a gang, but the rite of passage is you get jumped in. Some of them you get jumped in, or you have to do something to get in. And once you get past that rite of passage, once you've proven yourself worthy of whatever, getting this fucking tattoo, getting wearing this flag, coming in this house, living with us, getting the benefits of being in this gang or whatever, jumping a nigga, or having, calling for backup, calling for reinforcements if somebody fuck with your ass. If you've gotten past that point, you have to prove yourself. And when you've proven yourself, this is when you get to call yourself. So that's when you're in, right? If any of you have seen Aladdin and the King of Aladdin and the 40 Thieves. Is it the Prince of 40 Thieves, the King of the 40 Thieves, or the Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, right? It deals with Aladdin, of course, and it deals with his pops, who his pops he thought he never knew his pops. But his pops came, and of course, with his whole gang of 40 thieves, of course, and he's the leader, and they came to, I don't remember, but it's in the movie. They came to Aladdin's palace, of course, with Jasmine, and they fucked shit up, right? And of course, he got a hint of, who is this guy, right? Who is this leader, right? And of course, this takes you, dealing with the mythology, this is the call to adventure, right? Just something, however it comes, it just puts you in that position to where, all right, this is an adventure. Something is telling me I have to go this way, right? It's not logical, but I have to go this way, right? So, long story short, his dad is the leader of the 40 thieves, right? And of course, he gets led to, their cave or wherever they're at, and where they take all their loot back, right? And of course, he gets in or whatever, and his dad is undergoing this whole process of, man, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live clean. That was my son back there. I know we fuck shit up, and yeah, hell yeah, boom, we the 40 thieves or whatever, but this shit getting old. My son, I'm getting too old for this shit, right? That sort of thing, right? And then, of course, the 40 thieves, with all the movies like Pixar, Disney, shit like that, they go through this whole process. Are you in or out? They sing this whole song. Look it up on YouTube. It gives the whole sense of that gang-like mentality. Like, you proved yourself in, this shit's for life. Are you in or out? If you're out, you're a traitor to the gang. Therefore, you can no longer be around us. Most likely, you're going to have to die, right? Like if you came in us, you can't go out because we run the risk of you telling our secrets. You run the risk of going to the ops. You run the risk of going to the cops. You run the risk of us being pretty much disbanded as a group, as a gang, right? So, of course, that's the energy of it, right? But when you're dealing with gangs, like I said, it deals with the inner out, which means the choice of death or not. Which brings me to this point, right? Because like what I was saying, I'm talking to the niggas who's really like not about no physical war, not about no taking no race war, taking it to Whitey, you know, getting back, let's get our guns, let's fight. This is the boom, pow pow. No, I'm not talking to those niggas. I'm talking to these niggas that know for a fact you are here for a fucking reason and you are here to do your fucking work. And who is the enemy? Your former self, right? And who is the enemy? Your ego, right? Now, of course we know that you can't get rid of your ego. Why? Because the ego is Yaldabaoth. The ego is what the Gnostics call the demiurge, right? It's the creator under the all, right? It's the creator under Pistis Sophia, or Sophia's bastard son, who is unaware of his quote unquote unaware of what is above him, right? He's the jealous God. I am a jealous God, right? Because he is jealous of your divine spark within you, right? The power you possess. Even if you're in this human body, you possess the ability to transcend this cycle, right? This 12 cycle of the zodiac, right? Getting past these 12 disciplines and being Jesus and the 12 disciples, right? Not just being Jesus, but becoming that compassion energy, becoming that Christ-like energy, becoming that middle path energy, and using it to understand that these 12 are only an emanation of me, a separation of me, one into the many, many into the one. That's why Jesus had 12 disciples following him, right? Because they're following the source. They're following what is the way out, right? But what I'm talking to, what was I saying? What I'm talking to is these niggas that see themselves, right? Can visualize yourself and understand that doing the work, the only true enemy is inside yourself, right? And so, take this visualization for example, right? Because we all know suicide is a cop-out. Suicide is a bitch way out. Suicide is a skipping the lesson. Suicide is a quick ticket to come back, right? Suicide does not get rid of your problems. Suicide does not deem your paperwork finished. Suicide is an energy of I just can't deal with it anymore, right? Which I'm not calling anybody that has committed suicide as a bitch, right? Because again, look at this place. You know what I'm saying? You can't really judge anybody for wanting to take that route out. You know what I'm saying? Like for somebody who especially hasn't come into the knowledge of what? Understanding how to breathe, understanding how to reprogram your mind, understanding how to deprogram your mind, understanding how to show compassion, understanding how to put things past somebody, understanding how to just understand that somebody was just a human. They were acting out of ignorance. I myself have acted out of ignorance. Therefore, I have no need to judge somebody. I can't judge somebody. If I were to judge somebody, I would be judging myself, right? I would be doing the same thing to myself, right? So some people committing suicide, that's their only way out. But in this aspect, with the knowledge, committing suicide is pretty much trying to cut it short, and I can't deal with it anymore, right? You're cheating the system. You're cheating yourself. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. But as I'm saying, take this visualization, right? Say for instance, right, you want to get past a certain thing, right? You make the choice like, I no longer want to do this anymore. I no longer want to be this anymore. I'm going to this route. I'm making the choice no matter what the fuck comes, no matter what I got to go through, no matter what I have to feel, no matter what happens. I'm going this way because I know this way is right. I know this is what I need to do. This is what I must do, right? In order for this to happen, right, there's an aspect of you that, of course, has been programmed into you, right? Because again, nothing exists within you because unless you give it life, its existence is based on your belief in it. Its existence is based on your knowing, right? Because I saw, and there's a show called Foundation out on Apple TV. It's Apple TV exclusive, right? And it shows, right? I'm not gonna give it away. Get into it if you want to. But there's this dude called Harry Seldon, who's a psychohistorian, pretty much a mathematician, who pretty much predicts the fall of the empire, right? The empire is this false empire that's saying pretty much at the center of the universe for 400 years, there was this dude named Cleon, right? And of course, he was very egotistical to the point to where he pretty much cloned himself, and his successors would be clones of himself, and they would rule in threes, right? Pretty much the younger one would be dawn, the middle one, the adult one, right? The man would be day, and the old man, the elder on his way out, would be dusk, right? He would be the wisdom elder, right? In a sense, right? And so Harry was pretty much, this is a false empire. This is not built to last. Of course, this was built for failure anyway. And he's saying this is, this is going to fail, right? Fast forward or whatever. He speaks to one of the leaders of the quote unquote survival past the empire, right? Which is called the Foundation, right? In the show, it shows he's talking to her to where she was like, "You're not a god, Harry. Why did you do this?" Right? And he was like, gods don't get murdered with knives, of course, right? Because right, because I'm not a god, gods can't get murdered, right? But gods can die, though. This is what he says. Gods can die. Gods die. The only way gods die, and this is what he said, the only ways gods die is if you don't believe in them, right? So back just like Panic has said many a time in the aspect of Clash of the Titans, right? Of course, the gods die because people stop praying to them. It's the idea, it's the mental energy, it's the mind energy of, giving it energy, right? So in order for something to die, right, it's going to, since the ego is the energy of comfort, protection, nothing must happen to me. I must do anything necessary to survive, to stay alive. The ego doesn't have an inkling of the thought of I am eternal, right? But because you have that divine spark, its job is to give you the illusion that you are temporal. You are bound by this body, and the ego's way of existing is using your imagination, which is sourced from your divine spark, because remember, your imagination is your subconscious. It's limitless. Whatever you input into it, whatever you visualize it, it's infinity. It's infinite, right? You can visualize anything. That's why people like to look. If you see a child, man, if you see a child, if you're in a group of adults, right? Say if you're having a kickback with your niggas, right? And all of a sudden somebody has a baby. I promise you, if that baby starts crawling across the floor, if that toddler starts walking, no matter if they fall, they start playing with a toy, whatever they're doing in the middle of the floor, I promise you, somebody's eyes is going to be focused on them, right? At some point, whether it's a room full of women, whether it's a room full of men, or whether it's a mixed group, somewhere in that conversation is going to be is going to mention that child. Why? Because it's wonder, it's innocent, it's unblemished, it's untainted by this world. It has no recollection of, or it has no recollection of what can happen in this world. As far as it knows, everything that matters to me is this fucking toy. This is my world. This is this playtime. What I'm doing right now, this is all that fucking matters to me, right? So back to what I'm saying in terms of the ego, right? In that process of death, right? Picture you as this energy, right? Get this in your mind. As this energy of, this was once you, and you're focusing on, all right, bro, hey, you gotta go, bro. Like, where I'm going, you can't go. You're gonna hold me back, right? Just, that's pretty much what you're saying when you make the choice, like, all right, this is what I want to grow, I want to evolve, I want to do new things, new experiences, higher level consciousness, awareness, that sort of thing, right? So this little nigga, you, a version of you, really starts talking back, fights back or whatever, and says, you know what, you're right. And tries to be tricky, right? You know what, okay, boom. And comes at the most inconvenient moments, you know what, fuck you, and blah, 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 and tries to convince you that my survival is necessary. You need me on this journey, right? And of course, death is the process. Of course, you can even this is why we clean our sheets. This is why we change our pillowcases. This is why we brush our teeth. This is why in a sense, this is why in our ancestors, the Egyptians were considered the cleanest people on earth, because they considered hairless, of course, they considered being hairless being clean. They didn't like to sweat. They considered sweat as quote unquote sin, right? And you can get into that or whatever. But hygienic. Just imagine being in the desert. Just imagine being in one of the hottest places on earth and you're always wearing white. Listen to what we say now. A nigga got on a white tee and you see just a shade of brown. You know, dingy ass nigga. Nigga, have you heard of Tide Gain, my nigga? Get you some pods, bro. Go to the laundromat. You know what I'm saying? Do you need quarters, my nigga? Like, is everything all right with your washing machine at home? I know a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. This is the shit, you know, that automatically comes to, you know, your mind if you see something dingy, right? And so, what was I saying? Oh, so this aspect of you that needs to die, of course, is going to try to fight and survive, right? And however this is going to get blended, I don't care. Spirit, it'll come back. But that aspect of you needs to die, right? And so we talk about, like what I started off, we talk about niggas and gangs. If you lived in Compton, if you've lived in hoods, if you've lived and listened to the music that we really talk about, like hip hop and rap is storytelling. No matter if you're an old head and you want to talk about niggas ain't rapping about shit today, these young bloods ain't saying shit in their raps, it's still storytelling about where the fuck I've been, what the fuck is going on, where I live, right? This is where, even if it's in the imagination, your imagination is affected by your environment, right? And so when you deal with this, right, what I'm saying is this aspect of you that seeks to survive, right? You're going to have to kill it, right? Picture yourself killing it in the most gruesome manner. This is why I'm not talking to everybody, because everybody, a lot of people in this human sense, you're going to put a sense of morality. You can't do that. You pull out a knife, you're going to go to jail. This is your own mind, right? And this is a part of you that's holding yourself back from evolving, from changing, from going beyond yourself, from elevating, from realizing what you deserve, from reprogramming yourself and getting and standing and walking in what the fuck you deserve, right? And what you know you need, what you know you must have, manifesting what you know you need, manifesting your desired reality, right? Based on your spirit's calling, based on your imagination, based on what you call heaven, based on pretty much your most desirable reality. If I were to paint this, if I were to write this, if I were the designer behind all of this, what the fuck would I want? How would I get it? Where would I live? What would I be doing? How would I get it? Why would I be doing it? In what aspect of abundance and prosperity would I be doing it? Would I be thinking about lacking something? Would I be looking over my shoulder? Would I depend on a Glock as my number one source of protection? Or would I rely on my energies inside of me as protection? What could I develop an energy in me under the energy of protection, call it whatever the fuck I want, draw it in my mind, shape it, mold it, and boom, here's your name. Bumbleclot. You know what I'm saying, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? You just fuck some, I'm just keeping it, just fuck some shit up. Anytime I say this name, anytime somebody goes against me, I'll call this name and boom, Swift. Like what I was saying with criminal. But what I'm saying is, just picture this visualization. In order for you to grow beyond yourself, you're going to have to kill this version of yourself. But remember, this version of every aspect of yourself, every aspect of your past is useful, right? This is why people say turn your pain and turn it into a passion. Put your pain, transfer your pain into something, right? Use your pain, right? Use your trauma. Use these bad experiences, right? Transmute it into something productive, constructive, that will help you get what you want, right? And so, kill this version of yourself in the most gruesome way possible. Visualize it. Visualize it, the blood gushing out, right? Visualize it burning, right? The blood gushing out, the dagger going in, stabbing. You know what I'm saying? Carving the eyes out. Yeah, goddamn, carving the scalp out. Niggas, Native Americans were scalping niggas. Let me say that again. Native Americans were scalping niggas and hanging scalps. Scalping niggas alive, bro. Native Americans being your ass. Niggas. Scalping. Like, bro, just picture that shit for example. Or just for a second. Getting scalped alive, getting your scalp cut the fuck off while you're alive, bro. Then take it, other niggas, Vikings, the blood eagle. First, I'ma axe the shit out of your fucking back. Then we're gonna take your fucking skin, spread it open, right? Take your back open, all while you're alive. This is a torture method, right? And the point of blood eagle was, if you die in silence, whoever you are, no matter what, you will enter into the hall of Valhalla. If you scream, if you so but make a you're fucking going to hell, right? This is a torture method, right? Record it. Whether you want to believe it or not, this is what they did, right? This is a part of their mythology. This is a part of their culture, right? A part of our culture, because this is the shit we came up with, right? No matter how they wanna display Vikings, right? That's why Idris Elba has Heimdall, everybody, you know, Heimdall, which is the watcher, right? Heimdall is the one who hears every blade of grass grow. Heimdall is the watchman, right? On the other side of the Bifrost Bridge, which is the chakra, right? Or that going up yonder, right? To the gods, right? To the kingdom of the gods, or the Aesir, right? The Aesir, the Veneer, the fertility gods. Then you got the gods themselves, and they're going into... What I'm saying is, look, this, oh yeah, back to the blood eagle. Open up your back, right? Then cracking the fuck out of your back, cracking each rib in half, right? Then taking your lungs out while you're alive. Of course, yes, of course you may think you're passed out or whatever, but this is the method, right? Then hanging you up. Look up pictures. Look it up. Blood eagle. The blood eagle torture method, blood eagle Vikings. Look it up or whatever. Look this shit up, because remember, visualization is the most effective way, because visualization, you're using your pineal gland. Visualization, you're using symbols in motion, right? Which symbols, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So when you're really putting your emotions into your visualization, your beliefs into your visualization, your intentions into your visualization, it will stick. You don't have to keep doing it. Once you picture it in your mind and you believe it, you don't have to keep doing it. That's why a creator, a God, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Once I say it, it's fucking done. That's why on the 10 Commandments, when Ramesses, so let it be written, so let it be done. I'm Pharaoh, that's the end of it. So let it be written, so let it be done. There is no debate. There is no argument. There is no fear. There is no doubt. If I say it, it's gonna fucking happen. Like there's no other way it can. There's no resistance that's greater than me. There's no resistance that's greater than me. So when you take this attitude towards yourself, when you take this attitude towards your former self, when you take this attitude towards your ego, kill it in the most gruesome way possible. Stab it in his eyes. Fucking cut off his ear. Feed it to him. Whatever the fuck you want to do in your mind. But remember, when you kill yourself, you're reviving yourself to work for yourself. This is why I'm gonna give y'all a song to listen to, which you've probably heard. Put this shit on repeat. Meditate to the matter of fact, 2 songs, right? A Nightmare on My Street by DJ, Jazzy Jeff, and Fresh Prince. Nightmare on My Street. Listen to that shit. They're talking about Freddy Krueger, right? Which of course comes in people's dreams, right? Listen to this. Listen to that song. And really, the song that I'm really recommending is I Put a Spell on You, which is for this conversation by Screaming Jay Hawkins. That nigga alone, my nigga. Tap into his ass. Tap into his ass, my nigga. Just listen to that song alone. I Put a Spell on You. Now You're Mine. Now, the niggas from Hocus Pocus, the 3 girls, they stole the song from him. Listen to him sing that song. Put that shit on repeat. This is the attitude that you take towards the aspect of you that you killed. Because remember, your ego is still useful. But you're killing it. You're doing all of this to put it in its fucking place. It works for you. Remember, like I said, Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, is unaware of what is above. But remember, it's jealous of you, right? Because you're more powerful than it. Once you turn this energy and kill it, revive it, and I put a spell on you. I put a spell on you. Now you're mine. There's nothing that you can say after this point. I killed you. I brought you back to life. I am the reason that you're living. And code. Take the technological perspective, for example. Before I bring you back to life, you are a soldier in my army. I input into you the code of my desires, of my needs, of my wants, of my reality, of my imagination, of my heaven. There's no resistance to this code. You're not on this iRobot shit. You follow me. You are my soldier. You are my zombie. You operate under my command. This is the attitude of justice on yourself. Not towards your parents, not towards your siblings, not towards anybody that, of course you can use these energies, of course, deities, or towards anybody that is wrong, that has done wrongdoing unto you. But the true work and understanding your reality outside is a reflection of what's going inside. You meet people because they trigger something in you, right? But you are not to take this energy out on them as if they are responsible for everything against you, right? This is why it is futile for a race war, because, and I'm going to do something else on this, but for the sake of this, the ego is the white man and woman. The ego is the demiurge. The ego is any energy that is seeking to keep you from knowing yourself and to keep you trapped here, to keep you from knowing anything, to perpetuate the illusion of you not knowing yourself, the illusion of lack, the illusion of powerlessness, the illusion of you don't deserve anything. So take this for instance. And of course, like I said, I bring slavery because for niggas in America, that's the shit that they tell you all the time. Take that shit for example. Everybody has heard about these horror stories, especially if you in this shit. Niggas making skin or purses out of skin. Your ancestors had shoes made out of their fucking skin. If you did not listen, look at 12 Years a Slave. They're programming this into you, trying to reawaken this energy in you that this is always what's going to be. Because they know you remember this shit. They know that DNA is only what you trigger. This is nothing new that you're seeing on TV. They know DNA is a passing on of genetics. DNA is malleable. DNA is what you've experienced. Meaning, whatever you think, whatever you believe, that's how you change. DNA is the projector of your reality. Once you change your DNA, you change your reality. Your DNA is sensitive to your fucking thoughts, bro. Once you change your thoughts, once you change your belief, which why I've said one of the most effective ways to do this is visualization. Really getting in the sense like, I want this part of myself to die and to resurrect as a part of my army. Any mutiny to my army, you're getting fucked up. You're getting fucked up. Take all your anger, take all your impatience, take all your frustration, take all your disdain with whatever situation you're in and whatever's holding you back. Visualize that part of yourself as you. Don't put any other face of it other than you. That's what you're fighting. That's who you're fighting. You're inflicting justice upon yourself. Whatever it is, put your face on it in your fucking mind and kill it. Picture yourself. Picture yourself. Visualize yourself. All right, boom. The corpse laying there, all mangled, dismembered, pool of blood. Goddamn, gotta take your fucking shoes off. The room, damn, you painted the fucking walls with the blood of this nigga. With the blood of yourself. Take that fucking energy, take that aspect of you, go right back into him or her, say, this is what I want, you work for me now. Resurrect it back up, dap it up. What's good, my nigga? It's been a long time. You ready? Let's fucking go. That's the energy of this shit. This is why the Gede, the Bone, Brava, and the Gede, and I'm only using this is because when it gets around Halloween time, anybody thinks of the Day of the Dead, which with the Mexicans, and you deal with deal with voodoo. You start hearing about voodoo a lot, which is very scary and was very scary in 1791 to 1804, the Haitian Revolution. These niggas had the most quote unquote sophisticated weapons, and they got beat by a bunch of slaves. How? Because everything around me is a tool and a weapon. Everything around me can be used at my disposal. Nature, I am not disconnected from nature. I do not have a limited supply of weapons. I do not have a limited choice. Because anything is better than this. Anything is better than being trapped. Slavery represents what? Stagnation. Take out the overseer, take out the oppressor, take out that any energy like that. The idea behind it is stagnation. You work for me now. You don't get off this plantation. You're trapped. There's nowhere else you can go. That's what it represents. So take that aspect out of the equation. Put that same principle into yourself. If this aspect is holding you back, you're a slave to it. So this is all what I wanted to say today. This energy is very hot right now. This energy is very alive right now. It's always alive, but especially in between October 31st, October 31st, the 1st of November, the 2nd of November, and the 3rd of November. These 4 days are very powerful, right? And this is dealing with, of course, this is during Scorpio season. Scorpio new moons coming up. Just got out of Libra season. You know, we could put all the astrology shit into it, but basically this is transformation season. Scorpio deals with death. There's 3 aspects to Scorpio. The lower aspect is the scorpion. The middle aspect is the eagle. The higher aspect is the phoenix, rising out of the ashes. The lower aspect of the scorpion does not want to do anything but clap, sting, venom. The eagle is the higher aspect of transformation. All right, you know, I'm low to the ground. I can see a little bit more shit right now. Same aspect. I'm an eagle. I can fuck shit up. You ever seen bald eagles? Those eagles are big as fuck. But the eagle represents flying high above the bullshit, right? But the phoenix, right, is that fire. It really is that transformation into something new beyond the human shit, right? Because remember, you see scorpions, right? They're human. I mean, not human, they're earthly. You see eagles, they're earthly. But do you see a phoenix going around? That's a mythological representation of the ascension of you, the transformation of you into something new, rising out of the ashes, right? What are the ashes? Something burnt, right? Something cooked, something going through the process of alchemy, right? That's what it's about. So go about that. That's the aspect of death I wanted to bring death upon yourself. Murder in the only degree there is. You're the judge, you're the jury, you're the executioner. Who the fuck else can tell you anything? Everything you go about with your mind every single fucking day. You go to sleep with your mind every single fucking day. Whether you have the TV on, whether you have the TV off, whether you're on your phone, whether you have the phone off. You're in your mind every single fucking day. Understand this. Kill yourself. Not in the sense of suicide. Kill yourself and resurrect anew. This is the process of death. This is why, look up, if you want to study, what's her name? I know, this is spirit. She has videos as well of her trip to IET, as well as an album on YouTube of their songs, right? This is not to get stuck in voodoo, right? Because this is only one system. But this is the energy that I'm putting forth right now. What's her name? Oh yeah, it just came back. Yep, Maya Deren. Let me look up the name of this book real quick, so I can get this shit to y'all. Divine Horsemen, the Living Gods of Haiti. If you want to get into voodoo, if you want to get into, again, like if you want to get into the traditional aspect of it, that's all fine and good. Just like anything else, the traditional aspect of it is for that culture, is for that time, is for that particular people, right? But the idea, it's in your mind. Therefore, the energies are in your mind. The laws of nature, that's what they call the energies, the principles, just corresponding to Shu, corresponding to Geb, corresponding to Sekhmet, corresponding to corresponding to all these energies of Kemet, all the other energies, right? Only principles and attributes of your own mind, right? How energy moves, right? Not a classification or a bogged down or a defined energy. Because remember, these energies, you direct them. These are only an identifications of energies. But what I was saying was, of course, you know, they break down she breaks down her experiences, which is it's a pretty credible source. Take it. It goes into the aspects of 1 + 1 = 3, right? 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 is actually a new creation, right? Which deals with just the basics of a mother and father creating a son, or a Set, Asar, and Heru. The family unit, which is the unit of your mind. It's really what your mind is, right? But yeah, that sort of thing. So again, like I was saying, murder in the first, or not the first degree, murder in the only degree on yourself. That is the only aspect of death you need to be worried about. Remember, like I said, if you really want to get into nitty-gritty of this, I'm telling you, this is chaos energy, right? You're dealing with all energies of darkness. All these horror movies, all this bullshit is just talking about an angry ass nigga. Just keep it real. A nigga, just no rules, no laws. If darkness were to rise, or if darkness were to appear and have a consciousness behind it, an appearance behind it, how would it act? That's all this shit is. And you hear about murders, you hear about any of these niggas. I'll shoot a nigga, I'll cap a nigga, I'll bust a cap in a nigga ass. You know what I'm saying? All this shit, you know what I'm saying? You hear Project Pat, you hear these, you hear all these niggas just Ice Cube, all these niggas, and I'm only giving just surface examples. There's so many niggas putting out songs right now, and you might call it bullshit, but remember, anything that melanin pulls out is in our DNA. I'm not talking about anything fake. I'm only talking about the real. Even if niggas is faking, that's their idea of their reality. You know what I'm saying? You can create anything with your mind, right? But the sense of it, right? You're pulling out of your imagination. Anything can happen. That aspect of chaos, that aspect of murder. Darkness brings fear. So bring that fear into that aspect of yourself that is fearing for its life and is willing to fight against you by any means necessary. Take that godlike aspect of your mind and visualize this happening to yourself. You inflicting this vengeance upon yourself, justice upon yourself. I've went through enough pain. I've went through this phase. I'm grateful for this experience. I'm grateful for this wisdom that I've gained from this experience. But time's up. But you know what? You can be of good use to me. Matter of fact, hold that thought. Pow. Do whatever the fuck you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not telling you what the fuck to do. Remember, this is your imagination. I'm only giving examples. This is your fucking mind. But this is the aspect of melanin. There's no rules. There's no rules as to how you can get your shit done. Murder in the only degree.